Have you ever been so afraid of losing your job that you almost lost yourself instead? It's 9:47 p.m. The office is empty. Everyone's gone home. Everyone except her. Harmony Carter sits at her desk alone in the fluorescent silence, staring at a contract no one asked her to read. She's 27, a contract assistant. The kind of shy girl people walk past without remembering her name. The administrative floor of Brooks Logistics hums with an invisible hierarchy. Linda Moore, the department head, runs it like a kingdom. Her word is law. Her approval is oxygen and harmony. She's learned to make herself smaller, quieter, safer. But tonight something's different. She's found something buried in the fine print of a major international contract. A penalty clause so severe it could cost the company millions, maybe more. Her hand trembles as she highlights the line again. She's read it 4 times now. This isn't her job. She's not paid to catch mistakes like this. She's paid to file papers and answer phones, but someone has to see this. Someone has to know. She thinks of her mother's voice. Don't make waves, sweetheart. Just keep your head down. Harmony closes her eyes, opens them. She saves the document, then does something she's never done before. She emails it directly to legal and copies the CEO. Her finger hovers over send. What she doesn't know yet is that this one email will destroy everything she's built and become the most inspirational moment of her life. But first, someone has to notice this shy girl even exists 3 weeks earlier. Harmony had walked into Brooks Logistics with a 6-month trainee contract and a prayer that she'd be kept on. The building was glass and steel, modern, intimidating. Everyone moved with purpose, their footsteps echoing confidence she didn't feel. Her desk was in the corner, near the copy machine, the spot reserved for people who don't matter yet. Linda Moore had looked at her resume for exactly 3 seconds. You'll handle filing, meeting prep, and correspondence. Don't improvise. Don't freelance. Just do what's asked. Harmony had nodded, smiled, thanked her. That night she'd gone home and cried in the shower. Not because it was cruel, but because it was exactly what she expected. This shy girl had been invisible her whole life. Why would this be different? But Harmony had a secret. At night, after her roommate fell asleep, she taught herself contract law, not from any formal class, just YouTube videos, free courses, library books she checked out on weekends. She didn't know why. Maybe because contracts felt safe, clear, black and white. Or maybe because understanding the rules meant she'd finally know when someone was breaking them. The first time she noticed something off was 2 months in. A vendor agreement crossed her desk. She was just supposed to file it, but a clause caught her eye. The termination penalty seemed wrong. She stayed late that night, cross-referencing it with the company's standard terms. She was right. It was wrong. The next morning, she stood outside Linda's office for 10 minutes before knocking. Linda barely looked up. Ms. Moore, I think there might be an issue with the Hartfield contract. Linda's eyes stayed on her screen. What kind of issue? The penalty structure doesn't match our standard terms, Harmony. Linda finally looked at her. Her smile was cold. Your job is administration, not legal analysis. The contract's been reviewed by people far more qualified than you. I just thought, that's the problem. You're not here to think. You're here to file. Harmony's face burned. She nodded and backed out of the office. Behind her, she heard Linda's voice, loud enough to carry. Can you believe that? 2 months and she thinks she's a lawyer. Laughter rippled through the nearby cubicles. Harmony stopped staying late for a while after that. She did exactly what was asked. Nothing more. nothing less. But the contract knowledge kept growing in her mind like a language she couldn't stop learning. Then came Mrs. Helen Wright, the archive clerk. 68 years old, 6 months from retirement. She worked in the basement surrounded by filing cabinets that still used paper because the company was too cheap to digitize them. Most people forgot she existed, but Harmony went down there sometimes when the noise upstairs became too much. Helen had kind eyes. She made tea in an electric kettle she kept hidden behind the surplus office supplies. One afternoon, Harmony was sorting old vendor files when Helen spoke quietly from across the room. "I used to be like you, you know?" Harmony looked up. "I saw things." Helen continued, not meeting her eyes. "Mistakes, big ones. I tried to speak up once. Got told the same thing you did." She poured hot water over a tea bag, watching the color bloom. "There was this contract. Back in 1993, I found a clause that would have bankrupted us if the client defaulted. I wrote a memo. Hand-delivered it to my supervisor." Helen's hand trembled slightly. "He dismissed it immediately. Said I was overstepping. 2 years later, the client defaulted. Company lost everything. Had to lay off 40 people." Harmony felt something cold settle in her chest. "Did anyone ever know you tried?" Helen shook her head. "No one remembered. Or cared. I kept my job. Kept quiet after that. 30 more years of keeping quiet." She finally looked at Harmony. "That's the thing about silence. It doesn't punish you all at once. It punishes you slowly, every day, until you forget what your voice even sounds like." Harmony thought about that conversation for weeks, and then the international expansion contract landed on her desk. She wasn't supposed to read it. Just make copies for the executive meeting and file the original. But something made her pause. Maybe Helen's story, maybe her own stubbornness. She read it during lunch, then again after everyone left. And there it was, buried in Section 14.7, subsection C. A liquidated damages clause so disproportionate it would trigger automatically if delivery was delayed by more than 48 hours. Given Brooks Logistics' current international shipping delays, they were virtually guaranteed to breach. The penalty, $15 million. Her heart pounded. This wasn't a small mistake. This was catastrophic. She had 2 choices: stay silent, keep her job, become Helen, or speak up, risk everything, and maybe, just maybe, save people she'd never even meet. What this shy girl didn't know was that her next decision would change everything, not just for herself, but for everyone who'd ever been told to stay quiet. And somewhere in the building above her, a CEO was about to learn the most heartwarming lesson of his career. Harmony didn't sleep that night. She sat at her kitchen table laptop, opened the contract pulled up on her screen beside the company's internal policy handbook. Her roommate Jade shuffled out in pajamas around 2 a.m. "You okay?" "Yeah, just work stuff." Jade squeezed her shoulder. "Don't let them take advantage of you. You're too nice." After she left, Harmony whispered to the empty room. Maybe that's the problem. She found it on page 47 of the employee handbook, a section she'd read before but never understood the weight of. Whistleblower protection policy. Any employee who reports potential legal or financial risk to the company in good faith shall be protected from retaliation. Good faith. She wasn't doing this to cause trouble. She wasn't trying to embarrass anyone. She was trying to protect people. That had to count for something. Monday morning, 8:15 a.m. Harmony walked into Linda's office before she could lose her nerve. Linda was reviewing her calendar, coffee in hand, perfectly composed. "Ms. Moore, I need to talk to you about the Telco West contract." Linda didn't look up. The one being signed Thursday. Yes, I think there's a serious problem with the penalty clause, Harmony. Linda set down her coffee with precision. We've been through this. You are not qualified to review legal documents. I understand, but if you could just look at Section 14.7. This contract has been reviewed by our legal team, our CFO, and our external counsel. Are you suggesting they all missed something that you, a trainee with no legal training, somehow caught? The way she said it made Harmony feel 6 inches tall. I just think someone should double-check the liquidated damages clause. Someone has. Multiple people. This is above your pay grade and frankly above your competence level. Linda's smile was thin and sharp. If you want to keep your position here, I suggest you focus on the tasks you were actually hired to do. Harmony left the office feeling like she'd been slapped. She sat at her desk, staring at nothing. Around her, the office buzzed with normal conversation. Someone laughed at a joke. Phones rang. Life continued as if nothing had happened. She pulled up the email draft she'd started the night before. Read it again. Then she looked up at Linda's office. Through the glass wall, Linda was on a call, gesturing emphatically, in complete control. Harmony's finger hovered over the delete button. Maybe she was wrong. Maybe she was overreacting. Maybe this was exactly the kind of thing that got people like her terminated. She thought of her mother, her grandmother, all the women in her family who'd learned to survive by staying small. Don't make waves, keep your head down. No one likes a troublemaker. Then she thought of Helen, 30 years of regret wrapped in tea-stained silence. Harmony closed her eyes and hit send. The email went to 3 people: Legal Department, Human Resources, and Daniel Brooks, CEO. She'd kept it short, professional, attached her analysis, highlighted the specific clause. No accusations, no drama, just facts. Then she went to the bathroom and threw up. Wednesday afternoon. Harmony was filing correspondence when her computer pinged. An email from the legal department. Subject RA Telco West Contract Review. Her hands shook as she opened it. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. The matter is under review. The signing has been postponed pending further analysis. Relief flooded through her so fast she felt dizzy. They listened. They actually listened. She closed her eyes, a smile breaking across her face for the first time in days. For one brief inspirational moment, speaking up had felt worth it. Thursday morning, 9:03 a.m. Linda Moore's voice cut across the administrative floor like a whip. Harmony Carter, my office now. The temperature in the room dropped. Everyone stopped typing. Harmony stood slowly. Her legs felt like water. Linda's door slammed behind her. What were you thinking? Harmony's voice came out smaller than she wanted. I sent an email about the contract issue. You went over my head. You CC'd the CEO. Do you have any idea what you've done? I tried to tell you first. You made me look incompetent. You made this entire department look incompetent. Linda's face was red, her hands flat on the desk. Telco West is furious. They're threatening to walk away from the entire deal. Months of work, millions in projected revenue, and you destroyed it because you think you're smarter than everyone else. That's not why I did it. I don't care why you overstepped. Massively. Linda straightened her voice, dropping to something colder. Your contract is being terminated. Effective immediately. HR will process your exit paperwork by end of day. The words hit like a physical blow. You're firing me. I'm choosing not to renew your contract. There's a difference. You're not a good fit for this organization. But the whistleblower protection policy... Linda's smile was ice. Only applies to employees. You're a trainee on a temporary contract, which means I can end it at any time for any reason. She opened a folder, pulled out a document. Sign here. You'll receive 2 weeks' pay. Standard separation agreement included. Harmony stared at the paper, the words blurred. Sign it or you get nothing. Harmony's hand shook so badly she could barely hold the pen. She thought about refusing, fighting back, demanding justice. But she was 27, broke and alone in a room with someone who held all the power. So she signed. In the cubicles, no one met her eyes. She gathered her things, a coffee mug, a photo of her grandmother, a succulent plant that was barely alive. Everything fit in one small box. Helen appeared beside her desk, eyes wet. "Oh, sweetheart." "I did the right thing," Harmony whispered. "Didn't I?" Helen hugged her tight. "Yes, yes, you did. And no matter what happens, you didn't become me." Harmony walked out of Brooks Logistics at 10:47 a.m. on a Thursday, unemployed, silenced, defeated. But somewhere in the building she'd just left, an email sat unopened in Daniel Brooks's inbox, and the truth was still waiting. What she couldn't see was the storm about to break, in the one place where truth still mattered. Daniel Brooks read the email at 11:32 p.m. on Thursday night. He'd been in back-to-back meetings all week, international calls, investor presentations, crisis management with Telco West. The deal had been postponed. Everyone was panicking. Legal was scrambling. And now this. An email from someone named Harmony Carter, a trainee according to her signature. He almost deleted it. Almost. But something about the subject line stopped him. Urgent critical risk in Telco West agreement. He opened it. Precise. Detailed. No emotional language. Just facts, highlighted clauses, and a spreadsheet showing projected exposure. 15 million in penalties. Triggered automatically on delay. Given their current shipping metrics, breach was virtually guaranteed within 60 days. Daniel's jaw tightened. He pulled up the contract. Found section 14.7c. She was right. She was completely right. Friday morning, 7:00 a.m. Daniel walked into the legal department unannounced. Who reviewed the Telco West contract? Marcus Chen, the head of legal, looked up startled. "I did. Personally. Along with outside counsel. Did you see the liquidated damages clause in section 14.7? Of course. Standard penalty structure. $15 million for a 48-hour delay is standard." Marcus's face went pale. He pulled up the document. Silence stretched between them. "How did we miss this?" Marcus finally whispered. Daniel's voice was stone. "We didn't. Someone caught it. A trainee named Harmony Carter." He forwarded the email. Marcus read it, then read it again. "She's right. This would have bankrupted us." Daniel leaned back. "Where is she now?" "I sent her a response Wednesday. Told her we were reviewing it. I assumed she was still..." "Find her. I want to thank her personally." Marcus nodded, already reaching for his phone. 10 minutes later, Marcus returned. His face was gray. "She was terminated yesterday. End of contract." The words hung in the air like smoke. "Excuse me. Linda Moore processed it. It's already gone through HR." Daniel's voice dropped to something dangerous. The person who saved this company from a $15 million disaster was fired the day after reporting it. It appears so. "Get me Linda Moore and HR conference room, now." Linda Moore walked into the conference room at 8:15 a.m. with her usual confidence. Daniel sat at the head of the table, Marcus Chen to his right, Denise from HR to his left. "Good morning," Linda said smoothly. "I wasn't aware we had a meeting scheduled." Why was Harmony Carter terminated? Linda didn't miss a beat. Her contract wasn't renewed. She wasn't meeting performance standards. Really? Daniel pulled up his laptop, turned it toward her. Because according to this email, she identified a catastrophic legal risk that everyone else missed, including our entire legal team. Linda's smile tightened. She created unnecessary chaos. The contract situation was under control. The contract was a disaster. If we'd signed it, we'd be facing potential bankruptcy. That's an exaggeration. It's a fact. She came to you first about this, didn't she? Linda hesitated. Just a second too long. She may have mentioned something, but her analysis was clearly unqualified. I didn't want to waste legal's time, so you ignored her, then fired her when she went through proper channels. I ended her contract because she violated protocol. She saved this company. Daniel's voice was quiet now, more dangerous that way. And you punished her for it. Linda opened her mouth, closed it. There's more, Denise said quietly. She pulled up an audio file on her tablet. This was recorded Tuesday afternoon, break room. Our system captures common areas for security purposes. She pressed play. Linda's voice came through clear and dismissive. The trainee thinks she's a lawyer now. Honestly, I can't wait until her contract ends. She's exhausting. Laughter, other voices agreeing. She actually tried to tell me the telco contract was flawed. Can you imagine 6 weeks of training and she thinks she knows better than Marcus Chen? More laughter. Well, she won't be around much longer. I'll make sure of that. The recording stopped. The silence in the room was suffocating. Linda's face had gone white. That was a private conversation. In a company break room, on company time. Daniel closed the laptop. It sounds pretty clear to me. You dismissed an employee's legitimate concern out of pride. Then you retaliated when she followed proper procedure. I did what I thought was best. You did what was best for your ego. Daniel stood. Effective immediately, you're being placed on administrative leave pending a full investigation. You'll surrender your access credentials and leave the building within the hour. You can't do this. I just did, and Linda. His voice was cold. If this investigation confirms what I think it will, you'll be terminated for cause. No severance, no references. Linda left the building at 9:47 a.m., escorted by security. 23 years with the company, gone in 23 minutes. That afternoon, Daniel sat in his office staring at Harmony's email. This shy girl had seen what no one else had, not because she was smarter, but because she cared enough to look. His assistant knocked softly. Sir, we found her address. Do you want me to call? No, Daniel said quietly. This deserves better than a phone call. I'll go myself. Saturday, 3:00 p.m. Harmony was in her apartment, still in pajamas, staring at her laptop. Job applications, rejection emails, the endless scroll of positions she was either overqualified or underqualified for. She'd cried herself empty 2 days ago. Now she just felt numb. The buzzer rang. She almost didn't answer, but something made her press the intercom. Yes. Ms. Carter, my name is Daniel Brooks. I'm the CEO of Brooks Logistics. I was hoping we could talk. Her entire body went cold. I signed a separation agreement. You're not in trouble, I promise. I just need 5 minutes. She buzzed him up, heart-hammering. Daniel Brooks stood in her doorway, no suit, no tie, just jeans and a button-down shirt. He looked tired, human. I'm sorry to show up unannounced. Harmony stood frozen in her coffee-stained sweatshirt. How did you find me? HR records. I know that's invasive. I apologize. He held up his hands empty. I came to say thank you and to apologize. For what? For not seeing what was happening. For not protecting you when you did exactly what we needed you to do. His voice was quiet, genuine. You saved this company, and we punished you for it. That's unacceptable. Harmony felt tears building. She shook her head. I shouldn't have gone over her head. Yes, you should have. That's exactly what you should have done. Daniel's eyes held hers. You didn't stay silent when everyone else did, including me. And that's the most inspirational thing I've seen in 20 years of business. And in that moment, everything she thought she'd lost was about to transform into something far more valuable. They sat in her tiny living room, mismatched furniture and all. Daniel didn't seem to notice or care. I want to offer you a position, he said. Risk and ethics analyst. It's a new role. We're creating it specifically because of what happened. Harmony stared at him. You're offering me a job. Not as a favor. As recognition of a skill set we desperately need. He leaned forward. You see things other people miss, or choose not to see. That's rare, and it's valuable. I don't have a degree in law. Neither do half the people who reviewed that contract. You have something better. You have integrity, and the courage to use it. She shook her head slowly. I was terrified the entire time. Terrified and brave aren't opposites. They're partners. Daniel pulled out a folder. Inside was an offer letter. 65,000 salary, full benefits, reporting directly to me and the legal department. Your job would be to review contracts, identify risks, and speak up when something's wrong. Harmony's hands trembled as she touched the paper. Why are you really doing this? Because 5 years ago I made the same mistake Linda did. Someone junior flagged a problem. I ignored them because I thought I knew better. It cost us $3 million and 20 jobs. His voice was heavy with old regret. I swore I'd never let that happen again. But I almost did. Because I wasn't paying attention to the people who were actually paying attention. He met her eyes. You're not a trainee who got lucky. You're someone who cared when it would have been easier not to. That's exactly who I want working here. Harmony read the offer letter 3 times. What happened to the others? The people who laughed. Daniel's jaw tightened. They're being counseled by HR. Culture doesn't change overnight. But it has to start somewhere. And Helen misses. Wright, the archive clerk. What about her? She tried to speak up once, 30 years ago. Nobody listened. She's lived with that regret ever since. Harmony's voice grew stronger. If I come back, I want her recognized. I want people to know she tried, that she was right, and that her silence cost her something no one should ever have to pay. Daniel was quiet for a moment. Then he nodded. Tell me what you want, and we'll make it happen. Monday morning, Harmony walked back into Brooks Logistics, this time through the front door, with an employee badge that read, Risk and Ethics Analyst. People stared, whispered. She kept her head up. This time she belonged here. Daniel called an all-staff meeting at noon. The conference room was packed. Linda's temporary replacement stood nervously in the corner. Legal looked exhausted. Administration looked confused. Daniel pulled up a slide. Why we almost lost everything. He walked them through it. The contract. The clause. The $15 million. We missed it. All of us. His voice was calm but firm. Every single person with authority to catch this mistake missed it. He paused. But one person didn't. He pulled up Harmony's original email projected on the screen for everyone to see. Harmony Carter, a trainee making minimum wage, caught what 3 departments and outside counsel missed. And when she tried to report it through proper channels, she was dismissed, then terminated. The room was silent. That ends today. Effective immediately, we're implementing a new program to ensure this never happens again. Any employee at any level who identifies a serious risk will be protected, celebrated, not punished. He gestured to Harmony sitting quietly near the back. Ms. Carter has agreed to return as our new risk and ethics analyst. Her job is to find problems, to ask uncomfortable questions, to speak up when something's wrong. He paused, letting that sink in. And if anyone tries to silence her, or anyone else who speaks up in good faith, they'll answer to me personally. A few people clapped, then more, then everyone. Harmony felt her face flush, but she didn't look away. After the meeting, Helen found her in the hallway. The older woman's eyes were red. "You came back." "I came back," Harmony said. "And there's something you need to know." She took Helen's hand. "The program Daniel announced, it's not just a whistleblower policy." Helen looked confused. Harmony smiled, tears in her eyes. "It's going to be called the Helen Protocol, named after you. Because 30 years ago, you tried to do the right thing. And even though nobody listened then, we're listening now." Helen's hand went to her mouth. She couldn't speak. "Your story mattered," Harmony said softly. "It saved me. And now it's going to protect everyone who comes after us." It was the most heartwarming moment either of them had ever experienced, and it was only the beginning. Because some debts can only be repaid by giving someone else the voice they deserved all along. 6 months later. Helen's retirement party filled the main conference room with flowers, cake, and people who'd finally learned her name. She stood near the window watching the city lights flicker on as the sun set. Harmony found her there holding 2 cups of punch. "Thought you might want to escape the crowd for a second." Helen smiled, took the cup. "Funny how people suddenly remember you exist when you're about to leave. They should have remembered sooner. But they didn't. And that's okay." Helen's voice was soft, settled. "Because you remembered for them." Daniel approached with a small wooden plaque and a velvet box. "Helen, before you go, there's something we want you to have." He held up the plaque. "The Helen Protocol in recognition of those who spoke when it mattered most, established 2024. Below it 2 brass nameplates. Helen's name and Harmony's. This will be displayed in the main lobby," Daniel said. "So everyone who walks through those doors knows that speaking up isn't just allowed here. It's honored." Helen's hand shook as she touched the plaque. Tears slipped down her face. "I didn't do anything." "You told me your story," Harmony said quietly. "You showed me what silence costs. Without you, I would have stayed quiet, and that contract would have destroyed everything." Helen pulled her into a hug, held on tight. "I spent 30 years regretting one moment of silence, but you gave it meaning." Daniel opened the velvet box. Inside was a silver bracelet engraved with a simple phrase, "Your voice mattered." "Wear this," he said gently, "and remember that you changed the future, even if it took 30 years for anyone to realize it." Helen couldn't speak. She just nodded, tears streaming. It was one of the most heartwarming moments the company had ever witnessed. 3 weeks later, Harmony sat in her office, an actual office with a door and a window, reviewing a new vendor agreement. A knock. "Come in." A young woman stood there, maybe 24, holding a folder. Nervous. "Ms. Carter, I'm Anna. I work in procurement." "Hi, Anna. What can I do for you?" I found something in a contract. I don't know if it's important. I'm probably wrong. Come in, Harmony said gently. Sit down. Show me what you found. Anna's hands trembled as she opened the folder. It's this indemnification clause. It seems really broad, and I know I'm probably overreacting. You're not overreacting, Harmony said, scanning the document. You're doing exactly what you should be doing. She looked up at Anna, saw herself 6 months ago. The same fear, the same hesitation. Thank you for bringing this to me. This is exactly the kind of thing we need to catch. Anna's eyes went wide. Really, you're not mad. Mad, Anna, you just potentially saved us from a major liability issue. Why would I be mad? Because I'm just in procurement. This isn't my job. It's everyone's job to speak up when they see something wrong. That's the whole point of the Helen Protocol. Harmony smiled. Let's walk through this together. And Anna, don't ever apologize for paying attention. That evening, Harmony stopped by the lobby on her way out. The Helen Protocol plaque hung on the wall, lit by a soft spotlight. People walked past it every day now. Some stopped to read it. Some took pictures. Some asked questions. It was becoming part of the building's story. She thought about the email she'd sent all those months ago. The one that destroyed everything and saved her all at once. Her phone buzzed. A text from Daniel. Dinner Thursday. There's another contract I'd like your eyes on. Also, I owe you a decent meal. She smiled, typed back. Only if you're buying. Ethics analysts don't work cheap anymore. His response was immediate. Deal, and Harmony, thank you for not staying silent. She looked back at the plaque one more time. 2 names. 2 shy girls who'd found their voices when it mattered most, and changed everything. Because sometimes losing everything is just the beginning of finding what you were always meant to be.